It comes from Living with Joy by Sanaya Roman, and it's on page 88. Can you imagine how it would feel if your heart were open, if you knew the universe was friendly? How would your life flow if you believed in your inner guidance that was gentle and kind, and that people were sending you love wherever you went, and that you yourself broadcast a beam of love like a circle around around you to everyone? Ooh. How would your life change if whenever someone said something to you, no matter how it came out, you recognized the love or the need for love behind it? Wow. Let me repeat that one. That one is a really good one. How would your life change if whenever somebody said something to you, no matter how it came out, you would recognize the love or the need for love behind it? You would be constantly looking deeper to acknowledge. No, wait a minute. Lost my place here. You would be constantly looking deeper to acknowledge and recognize the love within each being as I do. By your recognition of love, you would bring it out and attract it to yourself. Wow. That would be some joy, wouldn't it? Let's practice that. So our speaker this morning is a lady filled with joy. She's a retired professor of German at the San Diego University of San Diego. She's this lady's had quite a life. She's quite an interesting lady. She's traveled from East Germany to West Germany to the United States, and it's been quite a journey. I don't know if she'll share any of that with us today, but when you think of all she's been through, and you think of all she's done, you have to admire her. And so today, speaking to us, if she can find joy in all of this, we know that she's got something really good to say to us. Joy is ever present in our awareness. Please help me welcome Reverend Brigitte Heimers.
Thank you, Reverend Marianne. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, joy is ever present in our awareness. So let me begin with a quote from my favorite pink book, The Dawning of the Age of Light. It's on page 25-26, which has a whole chapter on joy. And as you know, but perhaps our TV audience does not know, our pink books are channeled messages from Jesus through a group of adult sensitives known as the Brotherhood of the Followers of the Present Jesus. And here's the quote. Find it. Joy begins in the heart of each person. Joy comes when you find in your center that spot which is divine. When you are one with all, your knowing your oneness with God gives you dominion. You rule your own world, and assurance of this brings joy, serenity, peace, and love to your heart. As each one finds this joy, the world will be filled with joy, and joy will be in the hearts of all. And I'm sure joy was in the hearts of all those who attended last night's Halloween party here at International Center, with Josiah and the Uplift Band providing the musical atmosphere for the evening. As I pondered over the word awareness, I received a wonderful lesson from my own I Am Self. It is true, joy begins in the heart of each person, but each one of us has to consciously or subconsciously become aware of that vibration that vibration of joy, and that has to be the first step. In other words, we truly have to feel it deep inside of us. And this deep, aware feeling then assures us of all the other beautiful attributes of our God nature, such as serenity, peace of mind and heart, love, compassion, and understanding. And then we find that the expression of joy is often very contagious. When we discover in our daily connection with others a genuine smile or an honest burst of laughter, it can inspire joy within the hearts of everyone nearby. Joy then can be one of the great rewards of the connection we have with our God Self, with others and with all life. But everything starts with us. As we give in joy, we receive joyously. When we share a tender moment with another person, or we watch an inspiring movie, or simply think about the people we love, it is joy that often arises within us. So I suggest that we make joy our way of life. When we awaken in the morning, in the first few moments of awareness, we can choose joy. The source of joy lies within our understanding that God and we are one. So deep within us are the seeds of love, of joy, of peace, of happiness, waiting to be nurtured and to blossom. Our emotions and perceptions are like seeds in the garden of our minds. And mindfulness is like cool water. I like to think of our mindfulness of cool water. When we water the seeds of joy, of love and peace in ourselves, they will grow and flower without struggle or effort. This is one of the simplest and most wonderful of miracles. Turning within, we are able to discover the great joy of God's gentle presence and the simple pleasure of being one with God. My time in meditation or in the silence of prayer brings me a sense of soul satisfaction as joy wells up within me. And when I turn to the world around me, I feel my joy is radiating also to others. Another ingredient which cultivates joy is gratitude. We can give thanks for the blessings which are already in our life and appreciate each person and animal who is sharing this journey with us. We can acknowledge our experience with a calm awareness that life is good and joy is the only power. As we sing here at TIC on Sundays and every other class we attend, we close with that song, love is the only power. So positive actions also evoke joy. Being friendly and encouraging toward others is one way we nurture the ever-present joy within us. I still remember the many years as a professor of German at the University of San Diego. One of the classes I taught was a straight beginner's class. Needless to say, I was aware of the anxieties which some of my students had during the first class of the semester. So I used a lot of friendliness and encouragement to help them learn their lessons and to have also fun during class so that they could leave at the end of class with a spring in their step, with inner joy and a sense of accomplishment. And as you know, there is a rumor that says, oh, German is a very difficult language. I tell you, it is not not more difficult than any other language. When I was studying Spanish, I had to diligently learn everything, vocabulary, rules in grammar, and of course, the important part I always find in our students here is that they don't get enough grammar material in high school, and that's where the first difficult step is. But German is a fun language, just as Spanish, or I studied Chinese and Japanese, and I tell you, that was more difficult because of the sounds that you have to make. So, and let us be aware of our sensory experience, which can remind us of the joy of being alive. As we cook dinner, we can enjoy the aroma of onions browning in the pan, or vegetables simmering right next to it, or we can savor the fragrance of the flowers which are on the table. We can tune into the joyful sounds of music. I usually listen to classical music on a CD, and just this month our concert season has, as well as the opera program, have started again here in San Diego. And these events are joy-filled experiences for me. Just a week ago, I saw the first opera of the season called Cinderella. On the program with me. Because I wanted you can look at it afterwards. It's by Giacomo Rossini. It was a delightful evening, and speaking of awareness, I was not aware that this fairy tale of the Brothers Grimm also existed as an opera. I knew the fairy tale from my early childhood, years on, but I had never seen the opera, even though I have gone to the opera since my teenage years. So I know a lot of operas, and I love opera. So that was an interesting thing, and as you can see here, Cinderella, but she now is in the arms of her prince. Remember, it had to do with the shoes that had to be right. The opera was deviating from it. It was a bracelet that she gave, and he had to find the girl who had the other bracelet. So it was slightly changed. But no matter what we are experiencing, when we take time to keep our contact with the Christ center within us, we feel joy. Christ within us is our spiritual foundation, our pattern of wholeness, our overflowing joy. I would also like to mention Psalm 47, the first verse, where we can read the following, and I quote, "Clap your hands, all you people, shout to God with loud songs of joy." So music is part of joy. And I'll come back to my favorite pink book, The Dawning of the Age of Light. Wait a minute, where did I have it? Right here. Because there's another part that I want to mention. Jesus tells us on page 26, if you want to read it again, and I quote, "Find joy in your heart so that you can express fully the Spirit within you. Spirit channels best through joy." Even reverence can be accompanied by joy. Remember that seriousness is not piousness. Love determines the depth with which you express spirit. And love and joy begin within yourself. Find love and joy in expressing your identity. Let joy light up your experiences and feel the lifting as you give them over to your wise God self. We who are many surround you with our love and joy. End of quote. That was a long quote. In this context, then, let's remember an affirmation we use here at the teaching. We frequently in our classes hear about that affirmation, let go and let God. So what does that really mean? Let go and let God. When we have come to the point where we cannot find any more answers, we give it over to God. And we know that this power of God within us is constant and is unchanging, so long as we cultivate the song we sing at the end of each meeting. Joy is the only power. True joy is not something we acquire from outer events or things. It is something we release from within. But first, of course, we have to become aware of it. And just as importantly, we need to trust our inner guidance all the way. We cannot have a lot of question marks as we get our messages from our I am selves or Christ selves. And there's also another wonderful passage in the Dawning of the Age of Light, is on page 1718, where Jesus asks the reader, "Whom do you trust?" He's asking. Trust is a precious and subtle element. Above all, Jesus says, trust yourself, for without trusting yourself, how can you trust another? You do trust yourself, and you do trust God, or you would not even pray. So build this trust. Trust may be a new concept to you. Trust can lift you to new heights of consciousness if you put your faith in God. Let God guide you. Let God take over your life. Let God lift you into an expression which is uniquely yours. Let pure trust lift and guide you to new levels of light. For light is God, and this will open a new awareness of your oneness with God. And remember, we need to be always aware. So in the privacy of prayer, we cultivate God's prayer, God's power, God's love, and God's joy as we open our innermost self to God and to all the divine help that is available to us through our inner Christ contact. And here at the teaching we are so wonderfully blessed, because in our very first classes in inner sensitivity, students learn to go deep within and to find that contact. And it's interesting, over the years, our entire consciousness in the world may have been lifted, because oftentimes students already have that name, only they have not yet connected it to their own inner self. So it's a wonderful experience. And of course, during these quiet moments, we can release our concerns to God, as though we are removing obstacles or weeds of negativity that may impede our growing love, our joy, our faith, and trust. So are we or someone we care about in need of better health? Well, I suggest we turn to joy. Let's sing a joyful song of life, and let this song renew our power of love, of joy and faith in the presence of God, the presence of divine life within. This divine source of energy and vitality continually nourishes tissues, it strengthens cells, and promotes the healing process. And we may not even consciously be aware of what is happening, but our entire body, our biggest part is our skin. And through our skin, everything in our body is actually responding to these vibrations. Or are we uncertain about a decision we face or a solution to a problem? So let us allow a joyful song of light to shine in our heart and mind. And as we do, we are affirming our joy. We are affirming love. We are affirming also faith in our one true guide, our inner Christ, and so God within. there is the Bible quote, God within our hope of glory.
That is really true.
So divine wisdom will counsel us. It illumine the right path to take and reveal right answers. Because we created a
Space for joy to be ever present in our
awareness. Have you ever
tried to find an answer and it didn't come right away? Well,
I have some good news. We don't always immediately get the answer, but we might do something totally different during the day, and all of a sudden we are finally receiving what we were asking. So patience is an important part also of our enjoying the joy within us. Another part, other question, have finances become a concern? So I would say, again, let us sing a joyful song of love of God and of praise for the blessings we already have. It always starts that we need to give thanks for what we already have. And as we
give thanks, there is actually a wonderful vibration opening us to greater blessings also in the finances. It will open our life to new expressions of God's abundance,
because God's abundance is all around us. We just need to become really aware of it. So let us lift our joyful song to God and be ready
to receive ideas that will help us use divine supply in beneficial ways, because we created a space of joy, a space for joy, to be ever present in our awareness. And remember too, to sing a joyful song of peace, especially at this present time where millions of people are longing for peace. A song of peace will keep our faith strong and joyfully soothe our heart during challenging times. We can breathe deeply as we relax and let the melody of joy and love and faith and understanding work and soar throughout our entire being. Because the power of God, the power of love and joy and trust is the basis for everything we do as we accept joy to be ever
present in our awareness. So indeed, let us accept the idea that joy is ever present in our awareness, because joy is the only power. And as Reverend Marianne mentioned, I have experienced a lot of things in my life, but when you are always filled with joy, it seems that it is easier to go through whatever the challenges
are. And even, when I was leaving East Germany to escape to West Germany, it was not an easy thing. But
I was working in a large company, and I was working for the director of the business. And it was interesting that I got in touch with a lady
who was from Berlin. And she and I, we discussed
my desires
to leave.
And she had friends in Berlin, and she was the one who told me, this is what you do, and then you buy this ticket, that ticket goes to Potsdam, and as you know, you have to go through all these different parts of West German territory in Berlin at the time.
And then she said, and then you get out at such and such place, and she got me in touch with her friends, and lo and behold, I was able to do it. So you see, as you put out your desire and you have that joy and that trust in your heart, it brings to you also the people who can help you with certain things. So this is one thing that perhaps you want to remember. It is always there for us to attract another person or some other situation to help us move forward. So, joy. The word alone brings a smile to my face. By embracing
joy, we can shift our thinking
we can shift our mood. We can shift actually our entire life. Even when we are feeling sad, we can turn to the spirit within and become aware again of the joy, which is stronger and more powerful than any thought of sadness. And of course, sometimes sadness is part of our experience, but we can turn it into joy. So, as we can see this morning, joy is transformative as we allow it to free and full expression through our thoughts, through our words, and through our actions. Joy can fill our heart as we hold the hand
of a loved one who is in need. Seeing past any human flaws and frailties, we behold their true essence. Our connection is life-affirming and joy-filled. So in conclusion, I hope I have convinced you that indeed joy is ever present in our awareness. Thank you.
So here's that program if somebody wants to look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brigitte.